This is Pastor Troy right here. Get ready for what we call something incredible. It's called the Best of Season 3. Our executive producer, Donna Kraniski's gone in the files. She's dug around, looked at your comments, and she's picked the best of Season 3 to throw back at you. So over the next few weeks, get ready. It's coming up right now. The first of, the second of, and a whole season of nothing but the best of Season 3. Get ready as that episode rolls now, and don't worry. We'll have new Season 4 episodes coming at you very soon. Be praying for us. We'll see you soon. I'm Pastor Troy. You've been on the dock. Now get ready for Season 3 Best of. And this is Pastor Troy. You're right here on the dock, on the dock.org. I didn't fade that out. Did you fade that out? No? Did it just stop on its own? I didn't click over. There it goes. We'll see what happens. We'll keep it rocking and rolling. Hope you're enjoying that. What an abrupt end to our beautiful beginning. It's just the start. I don't know. I didn't do it. I never clicked over anything right there. We got the clock going and the countdown started and all that stuff. The clock's working again. I've got it rocking and rolling over here. I'm resetting the clock when we're ready to go here. Take Action Today. We've been working with them and we've been in multiple episodes and we're going to get more of that today, but we're about on the dock here. We're all about episodes here that propel your faith out of the shallows, just like this graphic says, and into the deep. So we're glad you're joining us. We drop episodes every Tuesday and Thursday here on the dock. Go to onthedock.org to find out about those things right now. And you can actually listen to this. You can watch us in multiple formats: YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. Those are our primary platforms. YouTube's video, Spotify and iTunes is audio. You can also go to auxiliary places like Google Play. Go to our Facebook page, Roku, Rumble, and SermonNet. But we really like it when you're on those main three primaries. We get more points for that. Help us get points. We need points. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, and Getter are our social media networks, and we'd love to hear from you. If something you hear about today strikes you, conversation, testimony, as we're talking to our guests, feel free to write us, make comments about it, share it to us. If you need more information about something they're offering or we're doing, write us. We'll get that in their hands, connect back to you. Donna, our executive producer, she's always monitoring that. We're taking a look at those things, and we want to be in conversation with you. So when you find us, wherever you find us, try YouTube. We'd love to have you there. Hit subscribe, like, notify on any of our channels, and make comments. And then bombard your friends. Hit the links, send it to all your friends. Make your friends disfriend you. Send so much stuff about On the Dock that they wanted to defriend you because of us. No. All right. Go to Patreon also. We'd love to have you as a partner of the show. We have 4 ways you can partner with the show. You can just come and support us and help us out things. Today, Donna's on camera, but she's not on microphone. We don't have a 5th mic in here. So we're hoping to buy a new console to add some more mics. We got another guest studio over here we'd like to add, but we need you to partner with us to do that. So 4 ways to partner. Go to On the Dock with Pastor Troy at the Patreon. Download that app, and you can be a part of our team and help us make that expansion possible. Donna's in the camera, in the light. We just got to get her on a microphone. Sometimes we have a microphone. We have a spare guest. We don't today. There's also 3 ways to sponsor with us, to be a guest sponsor, like an organization or Christian business organization. And we can actually do a sponsor piece for you. And there's a way for you to do that too. Go to On the Dock and find out more about that. You can always call us and find out more about that. We now are partnering with SLNT. Check this out. Got right here. I've got my own Faraday bag right here. Phone's in it. Nobody can hear us. Google cannot listen. The Chinese are not even knowing what I'm doing. Now, you guys are, on the other hand, I don't know, but I have privacy because I use slntproducts.com, promo code OTD. We are now partners with them. You can get your own Faraday bag process. We've learned that your fob keys, your RFID credit cards, your laptops and stuff, when you're traveling, scammers can scam you. They can scan your phone, your key fob, and steal your car without coming in your house. They can get close enough and scan it from your back window or something, and then go get your car out and make a temporary key and go. They can scan your credit cards with you just when you're standing in line. Somebody can come back and bump your wallet, and all that stuff will jump out and get into the system. But if you have an RFD thing or setup, Beth, I found out this one today. It has it right here.
Oh, for your cards?
Credit cards go right there.
Cool.
my phone's in here. I got a spot from their credit cards. So if I'm traveling and I'm sure I can stick that in and stick it in my bag, and scammers can't get you. Go to slnt.com/discount/OTD and check that out. And we'll have a little promo for you at the end of this episode. You can check it out. We'll have more about this coming, so good thing. Go to onthedoc.org to find out more about this and all of our links. You can link to all of our platforms that way. Email us at info@onthedoc.org if you're just totally confused right now, and Donna will help you. Donna will get you through this thing.
Donna's the helper.
Donna is the helper, or she'll let us know who needs to help you. We'll help you. I got my co-host with me, Mother Beth. Mother Beth, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
I know you're not on camera probably yet. They're waiting to get you on camera, but we've got Mother Beth with us in studio today, along with myself and Donna Kornewski's over there on the board today without a microphone. Did I mention that? You can help us out with that. And we've got special guests here. We'll introduce them in a minute, but we're going to tell you what we're doing. We are back in Taking It to the Street Spotlight. We're on Take Action today. We're in part 4 of this episode, and we have with us Dan and Rebecca Pyles for part 4. Now, Dan was on this side of the table with me. He was my lovely co-host when we had Mike and what's the other lady's name?
Crystal
in, who are part of the leadership of that. They did the first 3 episodes. Go back and watch those. You can see those on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. You can go to SermonNet. You can go to our onthedoc.org. Watch those previous 3 episodes. And I told you Dan had a connection to both. So Dan is now on the other side of the table. He is our guest for these remaining, with Rebecca, for the remaining episodes of this. And we're going to dig much deeper because Mike kind of showed you the vision and how it came to pass and what they're doing. And Danielle kind of gave you operations. These guys are not just amazing, but their lives have been transformed by Take Action today. And not only has it been transformed, they're transforming other people's lives. So we're going to get into their story. We're going to get into what's going on in their lives. We're going to find out what they do for Take Action today and how Take Action can bless you and change your life, whether it's your life or somebody's life you're deeply connected to. So we're going to do that today. Take Action Today, just a reminder, it's takeactiontoday.net. Facebook.com, go to that, and you can go find them at /tat.southern.illinois, IL. tat.so.il, and you can email them at recovery@takeactiontoday.net. So we've talked a lot about this organization, and we've now got Dan. Dan is no longer my co-host. You're going to co-host on other things, but Dan today is coming in here as Take Action Today's Director of Programming. Welcome to that side of the table.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and privilege to be here.
There we go. The throngs of crowds.
I said this the last time, too. I think I want to say it again. Hopefully we can get a trend going here. #bring back Donna.
That's how we see what happened.
That's how we get her a microphone.
And we were discriminatory because today we shot earlier in the studio with one guest, and so we gave Colt a microphone and that. That's not fair to Donna. It's not fair to Donna. So bring back, help us out. Go. Do you have that? Do you have that lower third? There is one for Patreon. Well, the hashtag Donna, yeah, for you. But if you go to Patreon, we will take that first money to get Donna back. So Donna's being held hostage, and she's a Mikeless woman. You can hear her in the background. Yeah. So we've got Dan here today, and we've got also the community development coordinator, Rebecca Pyles. Rebecca's here as well, and you guys are married. Is that true?
That is correct.
Because if not, this picture's going to get a lot of people in trouble right here. If it's not true, it's going to get... But Rebecca, I need to check. When Dan was here for the previous show, which we shot a few weeks ago, and he was not, at that time, the director of programming.
Nope.
No. You were not. No, so you were in transition, and Mike already told me that was happening. So that kind of changed over the year, correct? Mm-hmm. Now, according to, I'm not saying Dan bragged about this, but he's moved up the ladder. But you are already up the ladder. The community development coordinator, I mean, Mike told me you were like, boom. You were like, it was like Moses and Aaron, and boom, you know?
Yes.
And then a birdie just told me, Dan says, I checked her, you know?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and now
he tried.
But it's not going to happen.
His head got too big.
So first of all, tell me about what is your job? What do you do for?
So basically, I'm the assistant with Mike. I help Mike keep the bills going,
That's why he said you're Aaron. That's how.
He throws the bills and say, here, make sure they're paid, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
I do payroll, and I just kind of keep the organization going.
Wow. So you're his right hand. You are an Aaron to him.
Yes.
And that explains a lot of that. Well, so now Dan, your job. What did you do before your job change?
So before I took on this new role, I was the recovery services coordinator for Take Action.
Did that
today.
disappear, or somebody else stepping into that role now?
Someone else stepped into that role.
What did you do in that role? What was your primary role?
So my primary role in that was overseeing the men's support programs. Also, when someone called, if it was a male, I would talk to that individual on the phone and then get him set up in services through
If they called and they were a female, did you just hang up on them and say, I can't talk to you?
Nope. That got directed to our other research.
So there'd be another person that would
Yes.
counterpart on that side.
Yes.
Well, that's a really good thing. Now you just switched jobs in the new year. Have you moved into a new office? Have you changed places? Is it a whole new process? Tell me about it.
Nope, I'm still in my office. There, you walk in, you're going to see Denver Broncos stuff, Atlanta Braves, Florida Gators. So I get a lot of heck from a lot of people from there because there's Georgia fans, there's Alabama fans. So
Yeah.
we kind of razz each other on that. But no, I'm still in the same office. I took this new role January 1st of this year. Actually have moved into the assistant director, director of programming. So it's a lot of responsibility, but Mike trusts me, and I appreciate him
So
giving me
basically,
that chance.
if I get this right, and I'm a layperson of this, it looks to me like Mike's kind of moving up to oversee future vision and other larger things.
Yes.
And it looks like Danielle's kind of moving into Mike's former role, so to speak. And it looks like your organization is just growing layer.
Yes,
Growing a
absolutely.
layer. And so are you kind of doing similar to what Danielle was doing before as she changed his job? Is it a little bit, is it new? Is it?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Crystal's moving into.
Yeah, I said Danielle.
No,
Sorry, Danielle.
it's all
Crystal.
right. Crystal's moving into what's called the director of operations. So she'll be overseeing all like grant accountability, writing new grants and stuff like that. And then I'll be moving into her where I oversee the programs for Take Action
For the
today.
clients and stuff like
Yes.
that. So two sides, kind of
Yes.
one's working the house and one's working the front of house, so to speak. Yeah. And then Rebecca, who are you coordinating for now? Still Mike?
Yes, still Mike.
They don't draft you down and make you work for like 4 or 5 of them?
No, I still deal with Mike.
All right. Well, if you get tired,
Assist him.
you get tired of them. Come help Donna. I'm way harder to manage than Mike. I can use help always. I'm glad to have you guys here. Now you guys are with Take Action. How long have you been, Rebecca, with Take Action?
A year.
1 year you've been
Since
doing this.
July
How long you
or
been?
August.
It'll be 2 years in July for me.
2 years.
So yeah.
Okay. How did you? I know you've got an incredible story. I'm gonna let you go tell that a little bit, and Rebecca, your side of it too, because I think when you talk about people that have gone through that have been in addiction and then they've gone through recovery and they're on the other side, there are 2 sides of this story, and one of you went through it more as the person involved in the action, but then there's a whole other world of people that are a result of the action. And I think a lot of people out listening can get healing and see what can happen and get access to things. What's great is your organization works a program, and we're going to talk about this a lot more in the second episode with you guys, using a peer counseling model. You're not using an AA group model. You're using an individual person-to-person model, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And which is unique because every person is dealt with individually. And you're mostly dealing with people with somebody else that's been through already what they've done, right? So you're not getting somebody talking down on you that's a psychiatrist that's got a doctorate that really never, he's having 3 lattes and his kids play soccer and he went to school for this. You went to, the people that they're dealing with each other have gone to the school of hard knocks.
Yes.
That doesn't mean they don't have training or some preparation or been counseling how to work with people, but their training comes from experience.
Yes.
And then putting that together, and it's a great model. So we're going to be talking about that. And you guys are not just, what's cool about this is as we hear your story and we hear what you guys did, to see you come through the story, and then now you're on the other side and you're the director of programming and you're a community development coordinator. It tells you that something about this has changed your lives, and I believe your story will change other people's lives. So that's why we have you here, spotlighting here in another segment or two this, because I think it's one thing to hear Mike's vision, and it's another thing to hear Crystal's process, but it's a great thing to go see somebody that's been transformed. And Crystal gave us her testimony. It was powerful too. But she's from Chicago.
Yep.
We know all those people crazy. I was born in Chicago. I can say that. We know all them people crazy. John Steve's another one. We know
yeah.
John's crazy. Everybody from Chicago is crazy, but you're from here.
Yep.
So we always think of people getting in trouble there, but you grew up West Frankfort?
Born and raised.
And right there, people watch you disintegrate.
Absolutely.
Right? But they've also watched you rise from the ashes. And that's what Christ can do. That's what the power of God can do. Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
And so I think that's what the most powerful thing is. People hearing this in Southern Illinois, this is a hometown story of a hometown change. And I could not be more, he just, I'm going to date this, but 12/31 of 23 and the first Sunday in, which would be the 7th in 24, he preached for me 2 Sundays in a row, and you preached several other times, and just knocked the ball out of the ballpark. I mean, just solid. And to see that you're running this ministry, you've got an incredible gift of preaching, you're working on degrees in counseling, to see where you've come. I don't mean this in a bad way, but if Dan can do this by the grace of God, you can do this by the grace of God. So
Absolutely.
hear that right now.
Yes.
It takes some will, and that's going to be, but every one of us have a free will and a free choice. So let's hear about how God got a hold of yours. Tell what you want. Rebecca, you jump in wherever you want, tell your side of the story, or, whatever you want to tell, if you want to bounce it around. And I just want to hear how you got, was there a Take Action Today there for you at the time? They didn't really exist, did they?
No.
No. How long have they been in?
3
Since
years?
2020 is when Mike first caught the vision to start meeting together.
Okay.
And then it really started taking full force in 21.
In 21. So you did this kind of pre this.
Yes.
And so that's going to be, but it's also going to, it's not an accident that God's brought people like yourself, Crystal, other people together, and other in your team to do this. And I got a chance to be a part of their gala this year. Just incredible, incredible stories. And you could see, I said this in the previous episodes, you could see what was the group? Okay, you had people at different levels, but you had a group that had just come through the basic core training. They all stand up. What was that?
That would be recovery court.
Okay, so they're in recovery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, I would like to help somebody else. Is that
Yes.
okay? So you're now training them to be able to talk to somebody
Yes.
else?
And some of those individuals from recovery court, I believe the stipulation is you got to have a year in continued sobriety. So some
they've
of
been
these guys
clean
are
for a
fresh.
bit. They're real fresh.
Yeah, they're
But-
fresh.
But they're a year in. They're saying, I want more. I want to help.
Yes.
I want to give back, or
Yes.
walk with somebody. And I watched them, and then I watched all the way up to some of your top leaders, like yourself. You were up there, and you've been out of this for a while, and you're a pastor now, and you're doing this stuff now, and you're just, and you could see whether somebody was just there or a year, or you could see them at 3 years or 5 or 7. I could just see the trajectory of what God's growth could be on somebody. It was almost like watching, I don't mean childhood in a bad way, but it was almost like watching somebody be reborn.
Oh, yeah.
And to see them grow. And what was the crazy thing, Rebecca, you didn't get to hear the first 3 parts yet, but to see the face on the judges, how proud they were of what you guys are doing. And for them to have success stories. Judges run people's lives a lot of times. And this was there were a herd of judges there.
It was so cool to see that.
And they were
too.
so
That's-
proud.
that
They were
is so-
dialed in. I mean, I whether they were from Williams County, they were dialed in to what was happening. And you could tell they love what y'all are doing, and they see hope in the community.
because they
of it.
seem the same people over. And
Oh,
over
yeah.
and
Oh,
over
yeah.
and
over,
Yeah.
and so they're big fans of your guys. So when I'm there for my first time looking at all this, I go, man, I'm ready to partner with this. And so as Mike and I will be working together along with yourself on the whole behavioral health thing of having it work with Hands Hope down the road as we expand the clinic here in Williamson County to reach out to people that need it. And we hope to be coming doing wellness clinics with you guys in other places.
Yes.
And I know there's also really a need for trained counselors in this area too.
gosh.
I know our daughter-in-law is
A Christian
counselor.
There are a high shortage there. And then recovery churches and programs doing recovery are very limited. But then you guys come along with a peer program that's just coming out of the chutes and graduating people is exciting.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's really
And
cool.
what's really cool about Take Action Today is I started July 1st of 21. I'm sorry, 22, July 1st. There were 7 people, full-time staff there. We just had our 19th full-time staff start today. Number 19 started
19?
today.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. So just within 2 years, we've went from 7 to 19 people, and that's nothing short of God. That's just
Oh,
what
yeah.
God's doing.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you get out of the way and just let God do what he needs to do and use us. That's what
Yes.
Paul talks about. He talks about us being vessels. And that's what Take Action Today is. We're just a bunch of vessels that a lot of society has looked at and say, you know, hey, you're always going to be a felon. You're always going to be an addict. You're always going to be this or that, whatever stigma that they attach to individuals.
You're always going to be that.
Yeah, you're always going to be that. And whatever that is, you know what I'm talking about. But, you know, when we step back and let God do what he needs to do, you know, his win-loss record's a whole lot better than mine. You know what I'm saying? So when I step back and let him do what he needs to do, that's why you could see an organization start out with nothing but volunteers in 2020 and then literally within 4 years jump up to 19 full-time paid staff members.
Right. And in today's climate, that's even a bigger miracle because some places are having a hard time finding people to work.
Absolutely.
You know, so.
Absolutely. And to answer your question, there is a shortage in counselors in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, huge.
Tremendous.
It's a huge.
And then when you get to Southern Illinois, it's probably crucial.
Yes.
Because I mean, Donna brought me a note because Bring Back Donna hasn't afforded a microphone yet. She brought me an incredible note, and she really pointed out something really good. She said to be able to recover and she said to fall. I'm quoting her, to fall and to rise to ministry on your home turf. I'm quoting her, in a small town mentality is very hard to do.
Absolutely.
Because you're stigmatized. You're there. They remember you as such. Yeah, right. I'll just be honest with you. Jesus himself struggled in hometown.
Right.
He couldn't do much there. Didn't say he didn't do anything, but he couldn't do much
Right.
there. It is really tough. And for you to be hailing out of West Frankfort.
It's tough. And even 7 years into recovery, I'm still stigmatized. I still
Sure you
have
are.
people that see me and will always look at me as a heroin addict.
Yep.
Right.
Will always look at me as a crackhead, no matter how much weight I gain, how much, how much I put on, how much my teeth look better now. I mean, I'm always going to be that guy to them. And I'm fine with that. Cause I've always been about, and especially in the last couple of years, it used to bother me. It used to offend me. Now I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to let my actions do the talking. And, I mean, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life trying to convince somebody what I am not and what I am. I'm just going to let my actions,
Absolutely.
Oh, I think
my
so.
actions talk.
I think that'll speak louder than anything.
But I can tell you this, I see why they feel that way about me because, and I'll share my recovery story in just a moment. I did some really shady things to people. I did what a lot of people who struggle with substance abuse do. I took advantage of people.
And you understand it's going to take people time.
Oh, yeah. Yep. There's relationships that will probably never be restored. And I just have to let God heal that.
But I do think there'll be some people that to your face, they may go, but they're sitting back going, I'm watching.
Oh, yeah.
I'm watching.
Oh, yeah.
And they're rooting for you.
Yep.
More than you think. I think there's a lot of wicked people that want people to fall today, but I think people see what you went through and what they're going to hear is most people don't recover from that.
No.
Right.
The odds are way stacked against you. Way
when you
stacked
start
against you.
talking about heroin usage and you start talking, about opioid disorders, it's really hard to bounce back from that.
And you have to have a good program, and you guys have built that. That's what's amazing to see so many success stories in one room, that class in one room, and the radiation on those faces as for those moments. You've created a movement that makes recovery possible.
Yes.
There's a power in the movement that raises the willpower collectively. You know what I'm saying? The testimony.
Yeah.
The Bible says there's power in the blood and the testimony.
Yes.
And I think you guys have a collective testimony, and we know there's plenty of blood. The blood of Jesus is sufficient, but you still have to have the testimony.
Absolutely.
So let's hear your story a little bit. And Rebecca, you tell it any way you want from your side. Help people understand that, and then we'll get into how you can help somebody begin to build their testimony.
Absolutely.
How about that? Go for it.
Absolutely. So, like Pastor Troy said, I was born and raised here in Southern Illinois, in a little small town just south of us here, West Frankfort. I was born there in 1984. Grew up there all my life, attended school, attended church. I graduated high school in 2002. I grew up in a very religious home, but it wasn't, let's see, how can I say this nicely? It wasn't what it looked like.
Right.
You know, there was a lot of trauma. I endured a lot of trauma in my life, but I don't equate any of that to my addiction. It was terrible. You know, I would not wish that on anybody, but I don't equate that to my addiction. Yeah, I did experiment with marijuana a little bit. Then when I was about 16, started experimenting with cocaine. I was just doing anything at this point just to find some type of a escape from what I was dealing with.
When did this start? About what age were you when it kind of started this journey?
I was 14.
14.
Yeah, when I started experimenting with marijuana, and then I was about 16 when I started experimenting with coke.
I know you're telling your story. Do you find an age where you see people get caught in this, where it starts? Is there a point where parents, other people can start saying, hey, they go, oh, they're too young for that. Is there an age where you see amongst your peers that you work with that's a common time when they struggle with identity and what happens and where they go?
It seems like teenagers is where it's at, but I mean, I've worked with individuals that, you know, started using needles at 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, like I've talked with people, and I mean, they were, you know, I mean, yeah, they were slinging dope at 9 and 10 years old, and then by the time they're 11, I mean, they're already, you know, addicted.
That's amazing. Continue.
No, that's good. So, where the addiction really started for me was in 2005. I fell at work. I was doing maintenance. I was stripping and waxing floors, and I slipped, and I blew this right shoulder out. When I say blowed out, I mean I blew it out. I tore both sides of my rotator cuff, a labrum ligament, and a biceps tendon. So this was in 2005, where there really wasn't much regulations to painkillers. So I went and seen the doctor, and I walked out with a prescription of Percocet, Valium, Soma, Vicodin, and was told to take these around the clock. I did this every single day for 10 months.
For 10 months.
10 months. I had shoulder surgery, rehab, all that stuff. Every single day I did these for about 10 months. When I went in for
real pain, you're in real pain.
Oh, yeah. Troy had rotator cuff surgery.
I tore my shoulder almost identical.
And I can tell you that's...
Oh, yeah. It was
he was
miserable.
in some terrible pain.
Before sleeping, you couldn't sleep at night. You could before surgery.
Yep.
After surgery was
so it's
terrible.
real. I mean,
It took me 3 months. I looked at the
pain.
doctor 3 months after and said, am I always going to be like this? And he said, no, just do the process, go through the rehab, and about 4. Then it started changing.
Yes,
but I about ready to give up.
Oh, it's miserable. You know, so I was legitimately taking these at this time because it was just an up and down every single day. Like you said, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't hardly eating.
Right.
Yeah.
So after 10 months of this, I went to the doctor. And my doctor's like, well, you don't need those anymore. We're gonna start.
Yeah, they just decide.
Yeah, literally, that's how it went. I walked in, they said, you don't need these anymore. We're going to take you off of these. You can now take ibuprofen, and we'll write you a prescription for naproxen.
Yeah,
so I'm like, okay. I walked out, and it wasn't about 4 hours later, I could feel my body like it was on fire.
Yeah.
I literally, like, somebody lit me with gasoline, threw a match on me, and I was on fire.
They didn't even take you down off of them.
No
They
weaning process or nothing.
And my wife is a farm tech. Our sons are pharmacists. Our son and daughter-in-law are pharmacists. I started in pre-med. My dad's a doctor. Opioid pain receptors are changed in that amount of time tremendously. Yeah. So your body was conditioned now for other. Well, even if it was well, it wouldn't matter.
Absolutely. When you go for 10 months taking Percocet and Vicodin, these are heavy opioids. These are heavy hitters. Yeah, my whole brain was rewired.
Like, where is this stuff?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to wean off of it.
And now your body could torture you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got sick.
So there was no wean off, no nothing. Just switch to ibuprofen.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
So, I don't even think I made it through the night, and I ended up getting, I got some Vicodin off of somebody. So that's what I went to. I started buying pills off the street.
Right, because they wouldn't give them to you anymore.
So I was going to the hospital. They labeled me as a seeker. So when I'd walk in the hospital, they'd say, here comes a seeker. So they wouldn't do anything. I mean, so I burnt all these bridges at these hospitals locally around here. I was buying them off the street. Well, it's not cheap to buy prescription pills off of anybody. It's pretty expensive. I had somebody introduce me to heroin.
as an alternative.
As an alternative, I could get, I could feel twice as good for about $5.
Right.
Gosh.
And that's just when things just went.
It's like
down.
Dollar General Vicodin.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like here, and all of a sudden, it's a solution.
Yes, absolutely. And honestly, you know, it made me for that time. I felt great. I'm like, man, why have I not been doing this before? Here I am paying a lot of money for just a few pills that's going to get me for the day. I can sit here and do, you know, I could snort a line of this, which I never shot anything up. I'm scared to death of needles, like terrified of needles. So I always snorted or I smoked what I needed to get a hold of.
I'm terrified of needles, by the way, too. Spiders and a couple things. So when I was in my world, I drank heavy before Christ, but I never, I had such an addictive personality. I knew I've always kind of an OCD.
Yep.
And I always said, if I do this, there's no coming back.
Yes.
And I didn't ever pass that line. You know, I think everybody has things in their mind and they'll do it, but I'll do every workaround I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So let me just ask I know you're not only in counseling, but you're trained to be a counselor. So your body, and I want you to keep on straight with it. So your body basically begins to rewire itself for the pain receptors.
Yes.
Then on top of that, you find a workaround that works. So your brain goes, well, this works and it's cheaper.
Yes.
So now you're changing not only your physiology, you're also changing your psychology,
Your mindset.
your
Absolutely.
sociology.
Absolutely.
So all of a sudden, this is working. I can thrive.
Yes.
So you can actually sociologically convince yourself
Yep. Oh,
that I
absolutely.
can fly.
And
I don't mean that in a bad way,
Yep.
but I can. And you, I mean, people are going to go, oh, he's working again. He's able to do this again. Yep. But you're basically functionally drugging yourself to work.
Absolutely.
Where somebody else might be taking prescription and they're functionally working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just having to do it yourself because the system just kind of dropped it off.
They just dropped you.
So you're self-medicating
Yes.
and self-managing.
Yes.
Okay. And you're actually doing it more efficiently than you were probably getting it done before.
Yep. Absolutely.
But it's beginning to do more harm to your body because I guess the compounding of it all begins to take effect. Go ahead.
Yep. So, you know, this happened for a couple years. Right in the middle of this addiction, I'm raising a newborn. She just turned 18 in December, but she was a newborn, and so you know, I mean, I've totally have. I don't want to say cut her out of my life, but at this point, I'm not really being the dad that I need to be.
Right.
So were you guys already married when the
No.
accident happened?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was married before.
Okay.
Yeah, and then what ended up happening was my first wife, you know, she got tired of it, you know, and you know she ended up leaving me. You know, she took my kids. I was homeless. You know, I slept in a car. You know, I mean, I slept at the park. I mean, it was kind of horrible, but I had this safety net. So I thought, I'm like, you know what? This is terrible, but I've got this. Right. You know, at this point, I'm up to probably, you know, at this point, probably about $150 to $200 a day in heroin or pills, whatever type of opioid I could get my hands on.
And the longer you use it, the more you need.
I'm building up a tolerance that, you know, where, you know, so at this point, the Lord sends me my future wife, which is Rebecca, sitting here to the left of me. I thought that I was doing a good job hiding my addiction.
I'm managing this.
But
that's part of the receptors are saying, oh, you got this fixed and you've got the workaround. And so sociologically, psychopathically, you're like, I'm good. Nobody sees this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And the vision that
this is common. This is very.
Sure.
I'm a pastor. I've got a counseling background. This is common. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else knows you have a problem, but you don't know you have a problem.
Oh yeah, addiction will pull the wool over your eyes to where you seem like it's
so
great.
they kind of call this. I mean, like there's functional alcoholics, functional drug addicts. You're kind of functional in a sense. And you can fool some people, but anybody that looks at you for 4 or 5 minutes goes, man, there's something wrong there.
Oh, absolutely. I had a full-time job, worked full-time, you know, sometimes I was working, you know, 20 hours a week in overtime.
But honestly, if you had, and I'm not justifying the drug use, I'm just saying, honestly, though, if you hadn't been using those drugs, you wouldn't have been able to work.
No.
And so that was your justification for continuing to use them. And that was the fault of the medical community
and that's why there's so much trouble today.
For dropping you off of those and not giving you a solution. You know,
they're people's minds blown when I tell them this, but you're thinking probably this is 2006, early 2007. After 10 months of this, there was no programs like there is today.
Right.
It was just literally good luck. And
just
We're not prescribing anymore.
yeah, that's it.
so in your mind, this is how you're.
I'm doing what I got to
This
do
you'll-
to survive.
Yes, right,
I'm doing
and to
what
function.
yes, I'm doing what I got to do to survive.
And pain, and let me say this, pain, we talked about this in a show we did for Extreme Exigency with Ray Miner. I don't know if it'll probably go after this, but we talked about pain when police officers use a stun gun or when they use a taser or they use pepper spray. He says pain is a powerful compliance. You know what I mean? Pain will make you comply.
Yes.
So, but your pain will make you comply with the opioid or the heroin. It'll begin to make it'll begin to let you bow to that, and all of a sudden you will do what it says you need to do.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you don't even know. You don't even actually. I want to say this in a fair way. It rewires the brain. Is that fair? I know you're in this.
It's absolutely right.
Addiction rewires the brain.
Yes.
And any addictive behavior, it could be to the endorphins coming out of porn, or it can be to gambling, the euphoria. All that can rewire you.
Yes.
And it takes a tough will act.
Absolutely.
And time and patience
Absolutely.
to come off that. Would you
Yes.
agree?
Yeah.
I mean, just as a counselor today. We'll keep going. I didn't mean to write.
No, you're good. No. So in
People think when they look at everybody, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No, you're good.
But when you're in that worst shape and you're in the car, you're in the neighborhood. You're that guy. Everybody knows that guy. The guy that sleeps on the bench. That guy that's in his car. You're that guy. You don't think you're that guy yet because you're actually functional more than you would be if you were just don't. Everybody sees you as the guy, but everybody doesn't realize that any of us could be that guy.
Yeah.
That's the thing with addiction. Addiction doesn't care what your color is,
No.
your age, your
Right.
social and economic status. It doesn't care.
It doesn't
about
care
any of that.
You see more of these. Look at Michael Jackson, billionaire, dead.
Elvis.
Prince, Elvis. I can run. We're talking about the guy that Matthew Perry, just died.
Yes.
Friends,
Yep.
ketamine.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew he had an addiction. He'd done better, but gets in the hot tub, takes a little ketamine, out he goes.
Yep.
Do not think this is something for just that person that's down and out. There are multi-billionaire princes, people like that. I mean, they just have their drugs delivered by a specialist, or they hire their own doctor to put them to sleep, or they, it may be more glamorous, but
Sure.
drug to death is drug to death.
You got to think about something here. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a firefighter so bad. That was like my ultimate dream goal. So I didn't wake up on career day at school and say, "Hey, I want to use heroin."
But I think a lot of people see that
Right.
and they go, "Well, they've got what they deserve." I mean, any of us could have an accident, fall, and the next thing you know,
That's it.
That's it.
Right.
That's
Your
it.
insurance company cuts
That's
you off,
simple.
you lose your job. Most people are 60, 90 days from having nothing. Their paycheck gets cut off. They lose their insurance. Next thing you know, there's no doctor to prescribe. You can't afford the pills. And now you're looking. I know all kinds of people that don't have the insurance they need. They get a cancer. They get something painful. And they're actually going to alternative drugs
Sure.
to just supply a need that the world won't supply. I'm not justifying everybody. I'm just saying there's lots of pathways there.
Well, absolutely. And that's the thing, and I've told people this before, whether we want to admit it or not, and you can agree or disagree, I'm not here to debate that, but we're all one crisis away from addiction.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And to sit there and say, well, that'll never happen to me. That's pretty, that's,
Anybody's pain receptors get adjusted to that and get stripped that away. It doesn't matter whether they're Elvis or Prince or you or me.
Yeah.
You are going to have to, you're at a crossroads of change it's going to require.
Absolutely.
So tell, where did that go from there? What happened?
So, me and Rebecca got married in 2013. We had a little child, our actually youngest, Skylar, who is she's 11 years old. By this point, I'm up to a $700 a week drug habit.
Wow.
I'm blowing our paychecks on dope, on heroin. This time, I'm now smoking crack. I'm taking any type of pill I can get my hands on. Living what I thought is a functional life, but I'm destroying everything around me. You know,
did you know? Were you aware?
Yes, I was aware of some of it, but I wasn't aware of all of it.
The depth of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
the depth of it. I
You'd have to
did.
spin your wheels pretty hard to maintain that.
it was a constant chore. It really was. It was work. It was almost, and I've told people this before, it was almost a high, just trying to hide my high, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
To maintain.
Right.
yeah.
It's
To
kind of a
maintain.
game.
Yeah, it was a game.
Right.
You know, so we got married in 2013, and like I said, $700 a week drug habit. You know, I mean, that's $35,000 plus a year that
Yeah.
I'm spending on dope and pills. That, you know, I've totally neglected my wife. I've totally neglected my kid. Well, like any person that just gets tired of that, you know, I was a liar. And I can tell you this, 99.9% of anything that come out of my mouth was a lie. I mean, I was a liar. You know, any way I could manipulate you, I was going to. You know, it's just whatever I could do to get high and whatever I could do to get my next fix.
Let me ask.
I was all
Let me
about.
ask you.
Yeah.
Some of that will be calculated, and some of that's going to be sociopathical. This is what I have to do to survive. What is the ratio when you get into that? It's going to be different for different people. Some people are going to go, "I got to lie to my wife," and some people are going to go, "I got to do this so my wife will thrive." You know, you can almost like justify the lie or justify the deception because I got to keep the wheel moving. You know, you become a hamster.
Sure. I mean, I think for me, I just was a jerk. I mean, I think that's what it really comes down to.
Because I see other people. I see other people. I see some people are just in complete denial. I had no idea I was spending that. I got a person I know that was getting taken advantage of, and when I looked at their finances and told them how much was being embezzled from them, they said, "There's no way that person would do that to me." I mean, they're not on drugs. They're coherent. I'm showing them. I'm showing them exactly where it went. They're like, they wouldn't do that. They're
Right.
so nice to me. They love me. They care about me. No, they've taken $90,000 from you in 3 years.
Well, we're losing everything. Like, we're getting cars repoed, stuff's getting shut off. We hardly had food in the house. But I mean, and I'm sitting here, you know, I mean, I'm doing okay, but I'm watching this whole world just crumble beneath me, just constantly lying to her and just constantly. I've never been physically abusive at all.
So is
Never.
your world shrinking around you?
Oh yeah, I'm watching it start to collapse.
Yeah.
But
You're like in a black hole kind of.
but I'm watching it, but addiction thinks that I will make you feel like you've got control.
I'm going to game this. I'll figure out.
It's going to be okay.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Addiction's telling me
That's
it's
what I was
gonna
looking
be
for. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It's going to work out. Just let it, let
Because
her
you've
bump.
re-engineered those receptors sociopathically. You've re-engineered it. And this is like justifiable homicide
Yes.
to yourself.
Yes.
You know? And other people are caught in the influence of that injury.
Yep. So December 7th of 2015, I actually overdosed on heroin. Shouldn't even be here right now. I actually overdosed and I fell in 4 feet of water. This is in December, ice cold water. I'm with some buddies of mine. We're actually duck hunting. I know.
I know. I'm still trying to work that one out on y'all. Will it be a long lunch sometime?
yeah, guns and dope.
Guns and ducks and your buds.
Yeah, guns, ducks, and dope. That sounds like a country song.
It
I don't know.
does.
It is a country song, yeah.
Guns, ducks, and dope. But anyways, man, I snuck off. I'm sitting here doing what I got to do to get my fix. And I remember just sitting there having a conversation with these guys. And I just remember, like, I felt like an explosion in my chest. And my heart was just, I mean, I felt like it was just beating out of my stomach. The next thing I know, I'm coming to spitting and coughing up water.
So did you have some sort of AFib or fibrillation?
No,
and just-
he drowned.
Yeah,
No, but he was talking and his heart started exploding.
No, he fell into
I
water.
was overdosing on
but
heroin.
He fell in the water. Oh,
I passed out.
you
Yeah, he passed
out.
but
I
it
passed
says
out.
heart. I'm saying you began to fibrillate and then fell into the
Probably,
water.
yeah.
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 So
So do you think you just hit the saturation finally? Your body couldn't take any more?
Yeah, my body couldn't take no more, and it had enough. And I believe the only reason, 2 reasons I'm alive. Number one, I fell into ice cold water in December.
That slows
7th.
your life.
It shocked me back. And number two,
Well, yeah, I would do that.
you know, the guys I was with, they're like, "Man, where's Dan at?" They just happened to look down. They seen bubbles coming up out of the water, so they
Oh,
reached down.
Jesus.
They reached down and pulled me up
Out of the water.
4 feet of water. This was at like 6:30 in the morning. So I go home. Common sense would tell you, throw your dope away and let's get clean. I go home and get high again.
Right, of course. That's your natural.
I mean, at this point, guys, I've lost life. I have no control. I have nothing. I am literally just a puppet, a lying puppet. And, she gets tired of it and she leaves me. And I remember getting so mad at her. I'm screaming, I'm hollering, I'm yelling, why are you doing this to me? Why are you leaving me when I need you the most? And, so she takes me. I'm losing my kids again. I'm losing a marriage again. I'm sitting in a house that used to be a home. Now it's quiet. It's echoey. It's empty, and I'm just getting so mad. And I remember walking into the bedroom, and Rebecca has this huge vanity mirror that she uses. And I remember looking at myself for the first time in 14 years. And looking at this disgusting bag of bones. I'm 6'1", almost 6'2" if I put the right pair of shoes on. You know what I'm saying? I was 140 pounds. I mean, for the first time in 14 years, I got to look at what I have turned myself
Just for the
into.
record, I'm 6'1", and I'm 318 pounds. So you would have been under half of my weight.
Yeah. Yep.
Under half of just take me and cut half of me off, and then take another good slice off.
Yes.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. I remember getting.
I'm fat. I know, but that's just ridiculous.
That first time, I started getting mad at myself. I stopped blaming people. I stopped blaming the situation. I stopped blaming circumstances. And for the first time, I started taking responsibility. I'm like, you know what?
Did you see you in the mirror, or did it? Was it the shock of the mirror? Did you see you in the mirror?
I saw a disgusting bag of bones in that mirror. An embarrassment. I was embarrassed of what I seen. And
when we get to the later on, when we get a little deeper in the show and get to the bonus round, we're going to talk about mirror revelation, because I want to share a little bit on that later. But there's something about that mirror that because subconsciously you were fighting this.
Absolutely.
It's okay. I'll get through this. Why is she abandoning me? And all of a sudden, you consciously recognize yourself, another one of yourselves, and go, "Oh my God,
yes,
that's not me."
Yep, absolutely. And that's exactly
that
what
moment
happened.
is huge.
That's exactly what happened. And I remember just starting to cry. And when I tell you cry, like I'm talking like snot nose crying, like just losing it. I mean, that ugly face cry.
Yeah.
And I remember just saying, I need help. I need help. And man, I heard the voice of the Lord that day. No one will ever convince me that wasn't the Lord's voice. Mm-hmm. I was sitting in that bedroom. I was mad. I was crying. I was mad at myself. I've lost everything. And I just remember hearing the Lord say, "When are you going to give this to me?" And I knew it was the Lord. Mm-hmm. And so it took a couple weeks. We're not talking about religion. No.
You grew up in.
No.
We're talking about the voice of God.
We're talking about relationship.
Relationship.
Yeah, we're talking about. We're not nowhere near religion at this point.
This is an encounter.
To be honest
this
with you,
is
I hated religion.
Yeah,
I
can
really
see that.
did. I hated religion. What I grew up with and what I was subjected to.
You had a Paul-like encounter with the Lord.
Absolutely.
Like a Saul Paul.
Absolutely. I was on the road to Damascus, and he straight knocked me down. And it took a couple weeks of begging Rebecca to come home.
Because she had already heard every story.
Oh,
you had to be as hardened as it gets at that point in time. Because you are not a hard person in my book. You're incredible. When we say mother of the church here, Beth's a mother, Rebecca's my pastor's wives in the African tradition are mothers of the church. You are just a wonderful mother. I'm sure you can be a bulldog for the kids and protecting things. But you just don't seem that. But you had to have been at this point in time.
I was tired.
You were tired.
I was exhausted, and I had to worry about my kids. I had to think about
defensive mode for your children now. Yeah.
So
he's trying to beg you. I mean, he's snotting it out and ready to go, and you're seeing this. Are you just super skeptical this time? Are you thinking something's going on here?
Well, see, when I first met Dan, I knew that there was God wanted to use him. Yeah. And I knew,
that is the truth.
Absolutely. And I knew there was a struggle with him. that he was going through, but I didn't know the whole struggle. I just knew that there was a struggle that he was dealing with, and that I knew eventually that if I was going to be that wife, and I was going to keep praying, and I'm going to keep praying, and I'm going to keep praying, that God was eventually going to take that from him.
Wow, that's cool.
And that's what I had to do. I had to keep praying, I had to keep praying. But me to come back to him, my daughter, I wanted my daughter to have her dad.
That's a good reason.
And he was a phenomenal dad. I mean, never would I ever question him being a good father. He was a phenomenal father, and still is to this day. With being my husband, we had struggles.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we had struggles.
Because trust has been highly violated.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Trust,
I mean, shredded.
believing in him, believing him was very hard for me.
But in that we shred trust with the Lord the way we live.
But but God was my strength. God had to me getting at the altar and just giving it to God. That's how I was able to move forward with him.
And how did he get another chance with you? What did it take? What did you see that let you even give that inch?
It's just because I loved him.
You loved him.
I loved him, and I knew eventually. I just seen my kids too, and I truly deeply loved him, and that's why I knew eventually it was gonna take God to change it.
What when you made that pathway change, Dan, that mirror moment, you began to make that change. How do you get out of this?
Well, at that moment, I had something that I have not had in 14 years, and that was hope.
Wow.
That was the first time in 14 years I felt hope. I've honestly, for the last 14 years, felt like just broken. I knew I was going to die. And the crazy thing is, there was nothing I could do to stop it. Like, I knew two things was going to happen. One time, I'm going to overdose, and I'm not going to come back from this. Or I'm going to end up committing suicide because I'm not starting over again. I am not losing my wife. I'm not losing my kids. By this point, I'm already looking so bad on myself that I'm like, man, I'm just going to be one less junkie in this world, and my wife and kids won't have to worry about me anymore. So that's my mentality.
You're at the bottom of a barrel.
Oh, yeah. At this point, like, it was just every day I woke up was just bonus to me.
Right.
Yeah.
October 16th of 2016, this was a Sunday. I woke up and I told Rebecca, I said, I want to go to church this morning. Now, she must have thought I was high then because, like I told you at this point, I'm not a spiritual person at all. I have no relationship. I cannot stand religion, So I remember just going to church, and I remember just walking in. I can take you in the building right now. I can show you exactly where I sat. And I remember there was not a special service. There was nothing. I didn't care what was going on. I had one mission, like that woman in the Bible that wanted to touch the hem of Jesus' garment. Mm-hmm. She didn't care who was there. She was going to bulldog her way and get to him. And that's exactly what I did. I just remember walking in, and I remember standing out in the aisle, and I just remember for the first time praying to God that, God, I give you my life. Wow. And the moment I did that, weights literally begin to fall off of me. It was a recovery process. I went home and I had to detox. It was 14 days of hell. 14 days of sitting in a bedroom, puking my guts up, sicker than a dog. I remember after about day 7, I was going to cave in. I'm like, I just need one quick fix.
Right.
I'm just my hair was on fire, if that makes sense. Like my hair hurt. Yeah. So I called my guy, and I hear him in his truck pulling up. And the next thing I know, I hear this person screaming and yelling and hollering. And I look out our window, and it is my wife, Rebecca, with a bat.
Of course it was.
With a baseball bat, and chased this dude off our porch.
I love that.
Screaming, don't you ever come back on this property again. If I ever see, beating on his truck with this. I remember awesome. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get sober. Whether I want to or not.
Oh, I want to say the 14
That's
days of hell,
awesome.
and the image of you with the bat. There is another country western song. You need to change your genre. You've got a couple country songs
telling you.
in this show. Y'all need to get Carrie Underwood or someplace to represent and get you somebody. Y'all need to write this, and you got 14 days of hell because it's a Chris Stable could write that one about recovering. So, what an incredible! And so you have a turnaround moment then, and then you start to climb out.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to come back in the next episode, and we're going to hear about the climb out, because I think the climb out, somewhere along the climb, in that climb, you're going to get out and take action today is going to get involved.
Absolutely.
And we want to hear about the other side.
Yes.
And I think people have heard that. Tell us right now, if somebody is in your situation, Rebecca, if they're in your situation and they've got somebody that you know that they needs help, you know, maybe they're watching somebody do what they did. Do you have any advice? How do they intervene? How can Take Action help them? Can you get them some counseling? Can you get them some support if they're on the other side?
Yes. Just don't give up.
Don't give up.
That's what I really push people. Don't give up, because they're struggling, and they need you to help them, to encourage them, to love them.
That doesn't mean you don't set boundaries. You said enough of this. We're out. That doesn't mean you don't make hard decisions.
Yes, there had to be boundaries. I had to be tough. I didn't want to be.
I pushed it to that.
Yes,
though.
and I didn't want to be tough, but I knew I had to be, because I had 4 kids watching.
And Dan, if you're in your seat and you are the person that's using, you know your world's crumbling. What would be the first steps you'd tell somebody to get started to finding what you've said is hope?
Number one, acknowledging you've got a problem. Nothing gets fixed until we acknowledge this situation.
I've got a problem.
I've got a problem. Yeah. That's number one, right there. Number two, I understand there's many pathways to recovery. I've tried all of them, but I'm going to tell you right now, when Jesus tells us in the Bible, when he says, "Come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." And if you're sitting here and you're watching this episode, or maybe you've got a friend or family member that's struggling, they need rest. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking rest in a physical sense. I'm talking rest just in a whole holistic approach.
Yeah.
Just tired. I was sick and tired of the game. I was sick and tired of losing everything. I was sick and tired of everything just crumbling. I needed rest that only Jesus can give me.
And I hear, I need to write that down, because the concept we call this is that I'm in recovery, but recovery is rest.
Absolutely.
So I've never thought about that. I've always thought, well, you're just getting off the drugs, or you're getting off the alcohol, or you're getting off the sex addiction. But recovery is really letting the whole body reset.
Absolutely.
And begin to build a new sociology, a new psychopath,
Absolutely.
a new reset the perceptors. And that's why you had to fight through 14 days of hell, because the body's got to be really dewired and rewired, and because you've changed it, and there's a lot there. And then you want to go back to your old systems, but a baseball bat blocked it. I like that. Baseball bat, very useful.
Gotta do me. I have children.
You blocked those. You blocked those. What would have been a go-to for him, you stopped, and that took partnership. And sometimes we got to step in. So Take Action today. If somebody's out there, they could reach out to one of your offices right
Absolutely.
now, and at least talk to somebody.
Absolutely.
And get a pathway. And before we wrap this up, and we'll wrap it up here real quick. Just because you recognize you have a problem, you're probably going to have some slips and fall-ups, and it's not over with. The recognition's a start.
Absolutely.
And the start's not the finish. And none of us are finished in this room. Right. But the start makes a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could tell you that, once I flushed all my dope and went through that 14-day process, that it was just life was peachy. That wasn't the case. I had several slips. Probably about 6 or 7. There was times Rebecca was pulling me out of dope houses in recovery, but I realized what it was. I fixed that situation.
You begin to be able to have different understandings of that. Because I hear people, say, I've been in recovery 7, 10 years, 5 years, and they slipped and they go, well, I lost everything. You didn't lose anything.
Nothing.
You've learned new things. You now your mind knows there is a way out of this now. So you're not as hopeless as you were. And you've got new things to deal with that. So the devil will throw new things at you.
Oh, he will.
The devil will always throw stuff.
He's going to always try to cloud our memory and cloud our mind.
A slip is not the ultimate failure. No. It's not continuing to try and not seeking hope.
He's going to do what he can to, the Bible says that he's out to seek, to kill, and destroy.
Right.
So he's going to do whatever he can to let you know that you're always going to be a failure, or that you got to start back over from day one. And, Jesus said, if anybody be in Christ, they're a new person.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. TakeActionToday.net. Go check them out. Reach out to them. They've got lots of offices in different areas, and they'll be glad to work with you on that. They got a Facebook site, email site, but go to TakeActionToday.net. Check that out. They've got incredible list of programs here, peer recovery support program, resource centers around the area. They work with the drug courts here to help provide alternatives out, recovery education, reentry programs, community mental health and substance use liaison, safe passage program, Narcan Illinois DOPP initiative, Southern Illinois Recovery Network, recovery housing, coalition building, and so much more is coming. Take Action Today is on a trajectory to change Southern Illinois and how we deal with behavioral health.
Yep.
We're so excited about what's going on here. We're going to be back here real quick here in the next episode. Remember, every Tuesday and Thursday, we're dropping new episodes, and we're going to have them back and talk to them about this peer counseling model. We're going to hear about your recovery on the upside and how you got to be a peer counselor and how that model today is shining here. And we're going to get more details about that. We're going to hear a little bit about your family and kids. I'm going to make you tell me about those pictures I've got there as well. So go to onthedoc.org. That's our website. You can find this program. Go back and watch the pre-programs to this. Dan was my co-host on the first three, and now you can see why he's on the other side of the table. He is an example of what Take Action Today can do in your life. So if you're in this situation, reach out to them. Our information will be in the description. Go to info@onthedoc.org if you want to email us to get that information, and watch this program on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Pass this on to somebody else. If somebody else is in that situation, get them to watch this and hear testimony themselves. I mean, it's not, we're not telling somebody from on high, we're telling somebody what happened in their life. Mm-hmm. And these people aren't from Chicago, they're from Southern Illinois. They're right here. They're our people. So go check this out on all of our channels. We'd love to hear from you. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, and Getter. If you've got a testimony, if you're in this situation, let us know. If you think you could be helping in peer recovery of somebody else, let us know. If you want to support this, let us know. Reach out to us, and we'll get you connected to Rebecca and the team here, and get you involved and help them be a resource, or we'll get you there if you need help yourself. So they've got two sides of a coin. You could be in trouble one day and a counselor. Well, you could be the director of programming a few years later.
Yes.
So it's amazing. We're going to talk about that in the next episode. So come on back, subscribe, hit like, notify, tell other people about it. We'd love to have you as a Patreon partner or sponsor. Help us get #Donna, a microphone and a camera. And you can do that also by going to slnt.com, promo code OTD, or you can go to our own page, www.slnt.com/discount.otd, and get your Fair Day product, and make sure that they're not listening anywhere else unless you want them to. And we'd love to have you at church out here. Dan might be preaching. I might be preaching. Who knows? But either way, Mother Rebecca and Mother Beth will take good care of you. And they'll be here. You might hear Donna. Donna led worship this week and kicked it, man. They were great. Him and Jaden were great. Her and Jaden were great. And we just have a wonderful time. So if you don't have a church home, coftv.com. You'll be able to see what we do online. Come on out. We're in Southern Illinois. Love to have you. Make sure you get in a good Bible-believing church, because Jesus is the answer.
Yes.
Jesus is the turnaround. We're not talking about religion. We're talking about personal relationship and places where people are real. So we want you to come on out. If you don't have a place, we'd love to have you. And it's been a good episode. I'm Pastor Troy. We're going to be back in part 5 here in a minute. We'll talk about the peer counseling. So check us out every Tuesday and Thursday for those things. And while we break away from this, as I sign off, we've got this new SLNT partnership. So as I break off, say goodbye to you, and we'll see you back in the next episode. I'm going to roll before the closing credits a good commercial that SLT provided for us, so you can see more about their product. And again, on behalf of Mother Beth, good job, Mother Beth.
Yep, great.
Thank you, Rebecca and Dan.
Thank you,
Donna.
Thank you.
We've been glad to have you here. I'm Pastor Troy on the dock, and I hope you enjoy this SLNT as we walk on out.
There are more than 8 billion phones in the world, a fact that threatens your privacy, security, and health. With Silent Pocket Faraday protection, you can regain control over your mobile devices. We get it. Privacy and security are inconvenient topics, and you may feel like you have nothing to hide, but the fact is that in the modern world, your laptop is never really off. Your phone emits a signal, even in airplane mode. And everything from your passport to your credit cards contains RFID, and all of it contains valuable private information that is easily exploited in the wrong hands. Silent Pocket offers a range of products you already use: wallets, bags, travel gear, laptop sleeves, key cases. But with the added protection of our patented Faraday technology, which turns your devices invisible and safe from the outside world. Many industries, from top business professionals to government officials, require the use of Faraday products for the day-to-day security of them and their staff. They understand that we are constantly at risk and take the necessary steps to prevent future attacks. We offer this elite technology to anyone that values their personal data, and we are proud to offer a premium range that fits seamlessly into your everyday life, providing security without looking like a tinfoil hat. As we learn to live with technology, Silent Pocket stands on the 3 pillars of privacy, security, and health. Our goal is to provide harmony with mobile technology without risking our most valuable information. We hope you'll trust us to help you do the same. There are more than 8 billion phones in the world, a fact that threatens your privacy, security, and health. With Silent Pocket Faraday protection, you can regain control over your mobile devices. We get it. Privacy and security are inconvenient topics, and you may feel like you have nothing to hide, but the fact is that in the modern world, your laptop is never really off. Your phone emits a signal, even in airplane mode. And everything from your passport to your credit cards contains RFID, and all of it contains valuable private information that is easily exploited in the wrong hands. Silent Pocket offers a range of products you already use: wallets, bags, travel gear, laptop sleeves, key cases. But with the added protection of our patented Faraday technology, which turns your devices invisible and safe from the outside world. Many industries, from top business professionals to government officials, require the use of Faraday products for the day-to-day security of them and their staff. They understand that we are constantly at risk and take the necessary steps to prevent future attacks. We offer this elite technology to anyone that values their personal data, and we are proud to offer a premium range that fits seamlessly into your everyday life, providing security without looking like a tinfoil hat. As we learn to live with technology, Silent Pocket stands on the 3 pillars of privacy, security, and health. Our goal is to provide harmony with mobile technology without risking our most valuable information. We hope you'll trust us to help you do the same.